Next day I'm standing in a bookstore. I was looking for a book to read, and I had been interested in reading about like the history of the idea of the devil. And I was looking for this book called The History of the Devil. I couldn't find it. So I'm looking through some novels. I just wanted something to read. I happened to see the writings of Yukio Mishima, who was one of my favorite writers when I was in high school. And I got this memory in my mind of the movie that they did on him where they asked him who's his favorite writer, and he said Thomas Mann. I look up, by the way, I should have mentioned, when I couldn't find the History of the Devil book, I started looking for a copy of Dr. Faustus, which was written by Goethe. But as I was passing, I saw Mishima. He said Thomas Mann was his favorite writer. I looked up in the M's. There's Thomas Mann. I reach up and pull a book out, and it's Dr. Faustus by Thomas Mann. Right, a retelling of the Faustus tale, starring this piano player whose name in the book is Adrian. Okay, fantastic book. I got the book. I started reading it. At the same time, just randomly off my Netflix comes in the video, which my wife has been asking me since we very first met to watch this movie. It's one of her favorite movies. It's The Pianist, starring Adrian Brody, which was made by Roman Polanski, who also makes all the other movies about Satanists with The Ninth Gate, Rosemary's Baby, all of these different videos, these movies that Roman Polanski was involved in. And then he has The Pianist, which is exactly like Thomas Mann's book, taking place in Nazi Germany, about this piano player played by Adrian Brody, who's my wife's favorite actor. So after that, we watch the film. We go down to Savannah, Georgia over Thanksgiving and take a vacation. I'm driving out to the beach there, and we drive right past Fort Pulaski, which is there. We get down to the beach. Again, we're talking about Powell, Polanski. We get down to the beach. We're walking along the beach, and I spot something out of the side of my eye, and I said, what is that? And I start speeding and grab her, go down to the water. There's a dolphin about 10 feet away from us. Literally, if I had taken 2 large steps in the water and jumped, I would have been right on top of it. I've never seen a dolphin that close before. And it was just swimming there really calmly, back and forth. We were walking along the beach right along with it, watching this dolphin, totally amazed. We followed along. By the way, dolphins are the only animal known to actually create toruses sonically underwater that they can sustain. They call it the silver rings. You can look it up, the mystery of the silver rings. Dolphins are the only animals known to do that. They're actually intoning the most great name. So I followed this dolphin up and down for about half an hour. Finally, we walk back to another part of the beach about a mile off. We sit down, we start to do a prayer. And I'm thinking to myself, and I pray to God, I said, if this dolphin comes back and jumps out of the water right here in front of us, I'll know that this is not a coincidence. And the dolphin came and jumped right out of the water in front of us. The most amazing thing there at Fort Pulaski. So I come home. My wife went out of town. I was at the video store one night. I come across this movie about Roman Polanski. I'm looking at him thinking, do I want to watch this movie? And then I get skeptical and I think, there's no connection between me and Roman Polanski. This is ridiculous, I put the movie back. I go home. Next morning, my wife calls me. She goes, and we hadn't been talking about this. This was, weeks later. She calls me after that night when I put the Roman Polanski movie down. She goes, I had this weirdest dream last night that, what's that guy's name? Polanski? She was like, she'd never even seen Roman Polanski. She said, yeah, he came over to the house and he was looking for you, he was searching for you, Polanski. And I couldn't get rid of him. And then I kicked him out, and then I felt really bad about it. And, she's telling me this whole dream. I'm like, this is really weird. I go and watch. Roman Polanski, by the way, whose wife, unfortunately, Sharon Tate, was murdered by the Charles Manson gang. Okay? Again, further tightening the web. I go to watch the Roman Polanski movie, a story about him. Turns out, the guy says, at the time when Sharon Tate was murdered, when they called Roman Polanski to inform him of the sad news, he was working on the script for the film The Day of the Dolphin. So that's just how this thing works. It's an overlaid symbolism. It's going on all the time. It's linguistic. Okay? And you can learn to harness it, to tap into it. So the whole purpose of me telling all this is not to convince the world that I'm Enoch reincarnated, or that I'm a prophet, or that people should come follow me, or anything like that. My whole goal is to spread this into nations so that people can learn to resonate, so that they can learn to find the source of their creation, so that they can learn to understand the secrets of reality. What I have now, what Marco's opened me up to, with all this teaching, especially Baha'u'llah, who I'm now firmly committed to the words of Baha'u'llah, the more, and it's happened a few times since then, when I've had exalted states of consciousness, when I've been brought to the, what you can call the center of realities, you can call it the temple, the throne, when I have seen full 100% brain power, full consciousness, at the few tiny moments, hours of my life when I've been able to maintain that through the intonation, through the communion, I know and am fully convinced that the voice that he spoke with is that same voice. And it's within us all. And it's communicating this knowledge to us. So everything you're going to see on the videos we're putting out is to teach you about the most great name of God. It's called Baha, is the comparative case that represents this world. The inversion of it, the superlative case, is Abha. It represents the spiritual world within this world. The Abha intonation makes the form of the torus, which is the philosopher's stone. It is what they were all looking for. It's the culmination of all science, mathematics. It is the culmination of reality itself. And that's where we're headed now. That's what this project is designed to do, to get people engaging in this practice, whatever their faith, whatever their beliefs, their practices, to use this on various levels to improve their life, but also to help us all to resonate together, to reach a kind of a critical mass whereby we can take the next step, evolution, in evolution, genetically, where we can become fully active, not using 10% of our brain, using 100% of our brain, not having any junk DNA, having full control over all the codes, which Baha'u'llah teaches are written into the body. Everything in the universe, the uniqueness of the human temple, is that it is the place where God can establish himself, and where all of the other worlds in the universe, all the beings in the universe are written within this temple. So what I want to finish with is to read from Baha'u'llah's writings, and to show you finally that everything I searched for, all my visions, all the work, is not something frivolous that's just from me. So this is from the Surat al-Haykal, which means the story of the temple, meaning the body, the human temple. Say verily, we have caused the signs to descend after 9 conditions, each of which is a proof of the dominion of God, the protector, the self-existent. Any one of these conditions is sufficient to convince whomsoever is in heaven and earth, but the majority of the people are heedless. Had he willed, he would have... Had he willed, he would have revealed the signs after other conditions, whose number could not be reckoned. But he didn't. He revealed them after the 9 conditions. That was me, the last sentence.